Greetings, YouTube. This is Merlux. So today, we're going to be talking about how to enhance BlueStacks a little bit on War of the Visions, right? If you hadn't really noticed, man, War of the Visions kind of sucks basic on BlueStacks, right? Crashes a lot, it's laggy, it's just not fun. But luckily, there's ways to actually enhance your BlueStacks experience, right? So with this, not only am I going to teach you how to get that 120 frames that you're seeing right up there, but you're also going to make sure that you don't really crash so often, right? And I think that's pretty much the most important thing about it, right? Because that's definitely bad if that happens. So with that, let's get to it, right? So what we have here is a freshly installed copy of BlueStacks. I thought it'd just be a good time just kind of clean up the slate a little bit, get everything back up, right? At the moment, you can tell this is stock BlueStacks, right? We look at this and you're like, "Ooh, that's 30 frames a second stuff, right?" Obviously, that's not the stuff that we come to watch my stream, right? So, we're gonna fix it up a little bit, right? First of all, BlueStacks, we all know it crashes. It's super unreliable. I think it's just because of this game. There's a lot of things that could change, but there's something that we can do to help that, right? So if we go to settings, right, we go to our engine, we can scroll all the way down. So you'll notice a few things. One, we have our RAM. Our RAM is capped, right? We run it at high, and it's set to 4, right? And believe it or not, our game is actually set to 60 frames a second, even though they were only running 30 frames a second. Now, there's a few we're going to be talking about how to increase this RAM up to either double or quadruple, whatever you want. Actually, we could do double, triple, quadruple, right? Whatever your system can handle, right? If you have a 16 gigabyte machine, I think you can totally get away with just running 8 gigabytes on this game, right? As long as your sole dedicated game, right? I'm running 32 gigabytes, so I'm going to run 16 gigabytes on this because I want this game to run flawlessly. Now, the reason why I do that is I think there's a memory leak in this game, and and then what happened and how it crashes eventually is basically it hits that memory like limit where there's only 4 gigabytes of RAM or something, and it hits it and then it just crashes, right? So I found out when I increase this to 8 or 16, I crash way less, right? And that's really good. And it might just be for me, or it might be to just me, right? But I also notice it helps with my frames when I increase it, right? So right now, we can just confirm it's running at 30 frames. Everything's like that, right? So how do we fix this? I'll tell you. So what we do is we close this, right? Bam, we close it. Don't worry. Oh, and you see my dog Kupo. She is a beautiful little dog. So what do we do now? Well, so we will go, I think, up to here, right? Because not many people are savvy with Windows R key, which is your run command. So you can actually hit your Windows button up here, right? And then you can hit, you just type in RUN, right? And that's your run app, right? And guys, I will have to say the next step, make sure that you're only doing what I'm doing, and if you really don't feel comfortable going to this, like editing things, I highly recommend that you don't do this, right? Because you can actually find things in here that can totally blow up your computer, and I don't want to see you guys blow up your computer, right? And just as long as you follow this, you should be okay. So, guys, I can't stress enough, just be careful, okay? Don't try to do it. Don't try to be risky. So with that being said, let's go in, right? We're going to click this, which is REGEDIT. Type that in. And that's Regedit, or Reg Edit. So it's basically Reggie Edit. So we're going to hit that, right? It's going to pop up with like a warning screen, be like, hey, are you sure you want to open up the registry editor? And you're going to be, yeah, I do want to open up that registry editor. And then it pops up with a big old screen like this, right? And it's like, whoa, what are you doing? Okay, so we're in everything, right? So guys, if you follow where I install, like basically, I think this is the default path, right? So it's going to be under computer, right? You're going to find H key local machine, right? You're going to go down to software. Then you're going to go find your BlueStacks. So we have BlueStacks, right? I already assume that you guys have BlueStacks N32, the large memory version, because you're going to also need that to kind of get that extra memory, right? If you don't know how to do that, I think there's a lot of other videos that can teach you how, but pretty much you go to the multi-instance, you go to like pretty much this screen, right? And basically we have this giant N32 large virtual address. This is pretty much ran by the 64-bit, but it's scaled down to 32-bit, so the game can be played on that. That's my main emulator, but it needs the 64-bit to kind of run it, right? So with that being said, let's throw that back over. We want to find our phones, right? And it's going to be under Android 1. And now there's a few things. And we know it's this one because on the other ones, we haven't really touched any of the things. So like there's going to be no other, like it's going to be kind of empty, right? So we go to Android 1 and there's one thing called memory. You want to hit that memory, right? Hit that up. And this is extremely important because you could blow out your computer. I don't want to see you do this, right? So there's hexadecimal and then there's decimal, right? Now, this right here, this is just 4 gigabytes at the cap, right? So if you want to do double, all you have to do is just type 2000, right? And that's going to be 8 gigabytes and whatever odd combo that is. You do 3 gigabytes, that's 12. I do 4, right? Oops, that was the wrong command. So I do 4, right? And I'm going to hit that, and there we go, right? So now we see a little number over here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but 16,384. So I think that's 16 gigabytes of RAM, and we should be all done, right? So with that, we can actually bring back our thing right over here, right? And we can do boot up game. So we're going to boot up that game, right? We got to let this kind of boot up. It's going to just take a little moment. Don't worry. It's just how the game boots up, right? And then we go to My Games, and then we go to War of the Visions, right? So with that being said, it's going. So we go to our settings, right? We go to our engine, and we go down, and whoa, look at this. This thing is totally different now. It's actually set that, and we can actually crank it up to 24 gigabytes. We're not going to do that. I think this game runs perfect. I think 16 gigabytes is plenty enough. Hell, 8 gigabytes is plenty. But since I stream and everything as well, I just want to be extra safe. And usually I just have my OBS, and I have, this game running, and maybe a YouTube page, right? So that's going to help me with my crashing. I know that was kind of long-winded, and that sucks. So with this, you can notice that we're still running. Oops, well, you can't really notice that. We're going to raise up that a little bit. You guys notice we're still running at 30 frames, right? And that sucks. How do we fix it? Well, it's pretty simple. Once you get that RAM up, it should be actually pretty easy. Go to your engine, make sure the game is running, by the way. You scroll down and you see that. Enable high frames and crank it up to 240. Don't put it at like, okay, I'm going to want to run at 90 or 20. No, crank it up to 120. Basically, the game will never get up there, and the lower you go, the less it'll try to run, right? This will just basically throw it into like overdrive, right? Throw it there, and now you can see that the game is actually running very nice. I'm getting 122 frames, just half. And I know you can't really see it that much in YouTube besides, hey, it's up to 60 frames now. But holy God, if you have a screen that can go up to 120 frames or even higher, this looks absolutely gorgeous on your screen. I mean, I feel bad for my viewers and my streamer because like they don't get to actually experience how smooth it looks on my computer, right? They still get to see the 60 frames, and people are still amazed at how smooth it looks. But like this is just eye candy, right? Just how smooth it runs. So there is a downside to this though, and I want to like address this, right? So let's just say, all right, you're kind of done for now. Let's close BlueStacks. You're done for the day, right? You're gonna close, and then let's just say, let's go reopen this because I feel like playing again, and that's perfectly fine. we all need brakes, right? So we go hit this, and we go up to this. And you guys are actually going to start to notice something weird again. Huh, what's that? I'm only running at like 30 frames now? Again? That doesn't seem right. Oh, we jumped up to 70. That's good. Oh, that was a little choppy. It's not. Oh, we got 100. That's actually pretty good on the loading screens. But can we actually hit up to nope, back to 20, 30 frames. And how do we fix this? Actually, hold up. Oh, actually, we're bouncing a little bit, but it's not as high as what we had it, right? It's bouncing between 50 and 60 frames, right? And it's only going to slow down at this point. It's not, that smooth. Oh, now it's down to 30. It's dropping rapidly now. So how do we fix this, right? Because if we go to our settings, right, in the engine, it's already set to 240. Like, that's already to the max. You can't get any higher than that. And if you just decide, okay, whatever, I'm just going to run it at 60, whatever. Then you just made a mistake, because now this game is running like crap. Look at, we're running at 7 frames, and that doesn't even make sense, because now if we go back and we look at this, the engine says we're running at 60 frames, but obviously we're running at 7 frames. So how do we fix this? So basically, you're gonna have to do this every time you close BlueStacks, and this sucks, but you pay a price for having some nice frames, right? So the way to fix this, guys, quick little thing. Make sure you do this before I say everything else. Your game will most likely be at high frames. Make sure you click that off and then follow exactly what I do after, and you should be good. Just want to clarify. Throw this all the way down to one frame a second, right? And save it. Now you're gonna see this game it's just chugging now, right? It's running 0 to 1 frame. So, and after this, what you do, just simply close this whole entire application now, right? Close it. And we're going to open it up again, right? And the key to this is we want to close this game when it only had 1 frame running, right? Or not close the game, but close all of BlueStacks when it had only 1 frame running, right? Click on this, right? And this is going to boot. It's going to take a little bit because you're at 1 frame, remember? And it'll start, right? It's just, it takes a little bit. We can go our settings though, because we have this up and running. So we go to our engine, right? And we go up and, oh, it's still set there. Make sure you click that enable high frames and crank it all the way up again. And should work. Let's just give it a little bit of time. There we go. Ooh, sometimes it's a little finicky, right? Sometimes it's just a little finicky. So now we're running at 150, 170, right? Things look a lot better. Like I said, sometimes it gets a little bit finicky, but once you start going, it looks pretty good. Now, also a way to avoid what just happened, right? Of course, it's going to be a little laggy when you do the setups, right? But yeah, let's look at that. Oh, looks amazing yet again. So we're running that 120 frames. This is what you can do as well, just to prevent that. If you don't want the game running, but you're okay with leaving BlueStacks open, just close it out. And you don't have to do any of that stupid like readjusting, right? It should keep it right at the high frames. Yep, there we go. We're up to 150, 120. We're in good company, right? And I would always recommend after like maybe 2 hours of play or something, or 2 hours of grinding, or maybe after a heavy pull session, to just simply close the game app and just reboot it, right? Because that's going to help out your performance a lot, right? And that's how we want it, right? Still 100, 112, 115, 116. Like, this is all good stuff. And unfortunately, you guys can't see the full frames on your side, but when you do get all this running, it's going to be really good. So, other than that, let's go to our closing. Alright guys, thank you for watching this little tutorial, right? Obviously, it means a lot to me that everyone just keeps on watching and keeps on supporting. So, if you guys liked it, please give it a thumbs up, maybe subscribe. for a little bit more videos. Maybe trying to give a little bit more videos, right? I feel like I need to step up my YouTube game a little bit. So, so yeah, thank you all for watching. Enjoy the rest of this frames. As we can see, there's the frames. This is just a little bit of a duel, right? And, well, looks like the duel's over. So, with that, guys, I'll catch you all later. See you, buds. Oh, by the way, obviously my Twitch is up there. My Amazon's down there. Remember, guys, support your favorite streamers and your favorite content creators. Thank you. Now, see ya.